Okay, I'm recording this, but I'm hoping by the time I'm done recording this, it's going to be revealed to be fake, not real, and I've finally gone insane. Breaking news, Simple has a team. Where is he going? BC.Game. That's right, the organization that's still trying to pay off Jacob's gambling debt has apparently bought the GOAT. Simple will be joining the powerhouse lineup featuring Nexa, Prime Temps, Cocktor, and himself, a team that doesn't even have a stated fifth, as Jacob is still on the bench following his gambling controversy. What? I have 500,000 questions, and I feel like none of them are going to be answered. Let's try and go over the news. If you guys like this bewildered reaction content, you can show me by leaving a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Help me to 10K subs by the end of the year. Thank you so much to everyone who followed me on my Twitch channel last night. Make sure you follow me on twitch.tv/LionHeartZ2. Help me get the ability to co-stream more events in the future. There is no sponsor segment in this video. Fuck. Well, slight change of plans. After making that intro, I was so confused by the events going on before us, I had to go get some backup. I'm joined by Dustin, Dust Moret. Dust, first off, I think we're all in agreement this might be the weirdest signing maybe ever in Counter-Strike history.
Yeah, we'll just stitch in my tweet here because I feel like it was the perfect summary of what happened, where we were obviously excited to see Simple make a comeback to a team after seeing a couple of stand-in stints and, you know, showing a little bit of promise, some struggles too, if we're honest, but there was a little something there, a little something, a little ember that you want to throw some gas on. And we're like, oh, well, FaZe, did they finally figure it out? Are they actually going to get him liquid? Or are they going to swing for the fences? You know, what top 20-ish team are we going to see Simple step onto and actually get to see him at some lands? And nope, it's the refrigerator meme. It's down there on a team that will never get invited to a LAN based on VRS, and will have to try to play their way through an open qualifier. And the talent around him on that BC.Game team is the Overwatch fart noise. So I can go ahead and throw that one in there as well. There's no one on that team to support him in any sort of way. To give him the, I hope you stitch in the Overwatch fart noise. Do it again, actually. Here's a second one. Yeah, reverberating Overwatch fart noise right here if you want. Thank you, Richard Lewis, for that. So yeah, it's that. And so basically we just got the fucking curse monkey par situation line where we wanted Simple back so badly, and we wanted to see him play more after getting a little bit of an appetizer at the major. And well, you know, we got that, but this is the repercussions that you suffer to have it.
CCT legend Simple coming to a CCT near you soon. I didn't think that in the Big 25 we would get such titanic Simple teammates as Cocktor and Nexa. And I don't know, is Jacob going to come back off the bench? I mean, did they pay all Jacob's gambling money?
You just open with his first teammate is Kaka, and then you just stop. You don't finish out the rest of the name like that. That pretty much sums it up.
Yep.
Oh my god.
So, okay, at first, I thought this was trolling because Navi came out before this move came out. So that Simple he was free agent. Simple is off the team. He's going somewhere else. And Navi specifically said in their post that after the Austin Major, that Simple received several transfer offers, all of which were submitted to him. And you're telling me that out of all of those potential offers, he went to BC.Game voluntarily?
I mean, were his other offers like party astronauts and, you know,
was Wildcard trying to get Simple? Like,
yeah, dude, I can only imagine that the other offers must have not have been that great. In fact, let's try to inject some logic into this really quickly, because I feel like we have to at least try. If we go down the team list, and you're looking at like teams that are relatively competitive, they're at least going to make it to the big lands. It's kind of obvious like what teams he was not going to join. Like none of the top 5 teams in the world need to make a roster move, right?
No.
And you know, FaZe obviously already said that move wasn't going to happen. Right. And then, you know, Navi didn't want him back. Obviously, they didn't bring him back to the starting lineup when they easily could have, because he's already under contract. They needed to make moves. They made one with Makaze, but they decided not to do any moves other than that. And then you kind of keep scrolling down the list, and you're either getting to teams that have like all their players from one country and it speak a different language than what Simple would be able to speak, or you get the teams who have already made decisions. You know, Gamer Legion already bringing in Kersey, for example, Heroic already getting Grix, G2 already getting Sun Pius. And so like as you kind of work your way down down the list, like reasonably speaking, and then you also have to take into account he's never going to join a Russian organization, right? So that kind of kills a couple of teams as well that he might be able to play for. And so at that point, like really the only org you're kind of left with that he could have joined would have been a team like Liquid, perhaps, could have been one that you throw in there. And then, yeah, as you scroll down, it just gets difficult because, I mean, maybe Passion UA, at least they're like a Ukrainian team that at least you've heard of and have kind of worked their way into some level. But then, yeah, every other team already essentially has who they want. Like even Fnatic has Jumbo already, for example, and that's like your 40th ranked HLTV team.
Yeah.
So as you go down, it kind of becomes hard to see where he fits in. You know, like even like Ints would have been somewhat reasonable or something like that in comparison to what we got.
I just need to know. I need to know the teams. I feel like we're never gonna know probably unless someone leaks it, but I have to know who these teams were that were throwing offers because I find it impossible that FaZe didn't throw an offer. So unless FaZe are just the worst negotiators of all time and they were like $2 for Simple, like how? Like Liquid didn't even make an attempt? Like did Liquid make an attempt? There's so much confusion. This is like I don't know. This move just opened a door and threw a flashbang in and slammed it shut, and we're just stuck in the confusion.
Yeah, I mean, obviously BC.Game, you know that they have money, right? Being a gambling website and all that jazz. I mean, so they have the funds to be able to perhaps pay whatever buyout that Navi had left, which I'm sure that buyout was shrinking over time because Navi were eventually going to have to let Simple go on a free if they didn't eventually accept some buyout from someone. Right, because supposedly his contract was going to be up at the end of this year, is all the rumblings that I had heard.
Yes, up in October.
And then he'd be a free agent, and then anybody would be able to get him for free. So, you know, they have to eventually sell. Apparently, FaZe did not have the funds to do so. An organization like BC.Game that does have that type of you know, source to get funds from is a team that would feasibly have the money to be able to afford some type of buyout and be able to pay Simple a competitive salary, something that he wants. And I'm sure Simple was probably in a position where he just wants to play now. Maybe he's willing to take less money as long as it's like decent money, you know what I mean? And it makes sense from that perspective. But yeah, it is sad because in an alternate universe where, yeah, let's say Navi don't want him back. Yeah, let's say FaZe can't make it work out. It would have been cool to at least see him on like a Gamer Legion or a Heroic or, you know, something along those lines. Just so he'd be around the scene, you know what I mean, and have a chance. Or like I said, if he kind of made his return to Team Liquid to replace Ultimate, and that's no shot to Ultimate. He's actually been kind of picking it up lately. But just to see him on a team that's going to have a feasible chance to make it to some bigger lands, it feels like BC.Game is going to have to luck out in an open qualifier for that to happen, in which case he's just going to be in the perpetual online cup cycle that we have in like tier 2, tier 3 Europe. And to some, maybe that's just a way to kind of work off some ring rust and, you know, work through some stuff and polish himself up and prepare himself for a better offer in the future. That will all come down to, you know, how long of a contract did he sign with BC.Game? What is his buyout on that team? And kind of where you go from there. But I guess it's better than sitting out and doing nothing like he has been. At least it gets him out there competing to some level, but it's just not, it's not what we wanted. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I guess we gotta take a look at Simple's statement, which is kind of just came out while we were recording this. Simple tweeted out, and I'm just gonna read it out and then get your thoughts here, Dust. And he says, "I just want to play. BC Games gave me that chance, and they're serious about building a top tier team. Let's see what moves we make and how I can impact things. Maybe some things will change, maybe not, only results will show. One wise man said, if you want to come back to the tier 1 scene, you need to join a tier 3 team. I haven't done anything for 2 years. Sure? Was that Glaive that said that?
I think Blade said that, yeah, something like that.
Okay. It's time to change that. Can't waste and lose game time sitting on the bench. I mean, I guess from Simple's perspective, it does make sense because it's playtime in the server. But are BC Games going to announce 4 other roster moves tomorrow? Because he doesn't even have a 5th.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about BC.Game, though. Like, okay, let's try to make this as good as we can. Let's try to polish the turd, all right?
All right, yep.
The thing is, BC.Game's VRS is so bad that hitting a reset button on the roster rather than maintaining a core is not a problem, right? Like, they're already so much... Exactly. You have Nexa on that team already, which could be an IGL, could be a serviceable support player. So you give me Simple, you give me Nexa. If you can somehow... I mean, they're obviously BC.Game has shown the willingness to spend money to get Simple, right? And that's worked out. So maybe we will soon see BC.Game just hit a complete total reset, bench everybody on the team except for Simple, who they just signed, and like maybe Nexa, for example. And then they go out there and they grab some sort of rifling prospects that are out there, whether that be academy players, whether it be some rifles just kind of in the tier 2, tier 3 European scene doing well online, just something to give you some hope that they have enough firepower to get you across the line. But I mean, you can't expect Simple to be like Donk and be a one-man army and carry a team to a reasonable level. I just don't think he's quite there yet. Could he get there again? Maybe, I guess. I'm really trying my best here to put some type of optimistic spin to it.
All right, Gus, I'm cooking.
Yep.
BC Games.
Okay.
You gotta start over. You get Simple. You get Glaive off the bench events.
All right.
He's an IGL. He's got the tenure.
Okay.
All right. He's available, and you start from there. You build around Simple and Glaive. I don't know where you go from there. You sign some 17-year-old Ukrainian rifler who's just insanely cracked, and you just start building with younger talent. But
Simple rifler Dexter Opper.
Maybe. Sure. I don't think that works because Dexter's Russian, but sure. I was gonna say Flamus, but that also doesn't work because Flamus is Russian. I don't know how much that's obviously going to be a concern, but I mean, I guess Glaive is available. It's a start. It's a start.
I got nothing, bro.
Yeah. It's kind of where I'm at. This is easily the most confusing thing I've ever seen happen. At least in my time watching Counter-Strike and being like involved in the scene in the entirety of like CSGO, CS2 history, I can't think of anything more confusing than what's just happened.
Yeah, this is a pretty wild one to be totally frank. Obviously, I mean, there's just really no other way to go about it at this point.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say. Mages is sitting out there. Maybe somehow BC Game gets Mages.
Maybe that's not a bad shout.
That's one.
Mages, Glaive, Simple. That's like not a terrible core.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
I just don't know.
I don't know.
Xfloud's only standing in right now for Aurora.
Hold on.
He's been benched off Heroic. Xfloud, Mages, Simple.
Okay, wait. You're bringing me around. You're bringing me back from the edge here, Dust.
Magix.
No,
even though Russian,
you lost me. You immediately lost me.
All right, I tried. I really did. I really went out there. I went swinging, and I tried to come up with something.
If we're gonna swing the home run, BC Games, if you want to rescue trap players, just get Insani. Yeah, we'll have no language.
Yeah.
But we'll have all the firepower.
You're cooking on that one.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of like that.
I think it's burnt.
I kind of like that one.
I think it might be a little too cooked. I don't know.
We tried our best, I feel like. Of the list of players that we have to work with
guys,
right now.
Nexa and Cocknito are listed on the roster, okay? Like, we're not working with much. Like, is Jacob going to come back? Is he out of purgatory? Did they spend the Jacob money on Simple? I have so many questions.
I'm just throwing random names out there.
I don't know. I guess we should just bring this to a close because there's nothing much else to say other than this is confusing. And we have to stand on and talk about it because it's simple. He is the GOAT. And now he's on BC Games. What a world we live in. If you guys are as confused as we are, you can show me by leaving a like and leaving a comment down below and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Help me in 10K subs by the end of the year. Also, take a second and go check out Dust. If you know me, you should know about Dust. He's putting out fantastic content all the time and some great stuff on the way as well. Thank you, Dust, for sitting down and being confused with me for 10 minutes. I really appreciate that.
I tried my best.
That's all we can do, apparently. No sponsor today's video, so make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you to my channel members: Justin, Jesse Furley, Milan Berta, Bubblesj, Dr. Cocktor, Patatas Kaftesi, PTR, B1Games, Cody Foxworthy, Justin Vegt. I'm Flashbang, Stony White, Rowdy, Vergil'sPlasticChair, LBKcs, Snax Enjoyer, Crunchy Water, and zerotwocs. If you want to become a channel member, you can do so in the link in the description down below. For $5 a month, you can support me directly and get stream at the end of the video just like this, as well as a role in our community Discord. Make sure you follow me on Twitch too, so that's LionHeartZ too. I'll see you guys soon with another video. Peace.